Hey guys, Making Money with Gary. Today is February 12th, 2025. Today is a Wednesday. I'm out here picking longleaf pine needles. It's almost 6 o'clock and I got out here very late. I got out here, around 4:30. So I've been out here about an hour and a half. I only picked like 3 pounds, perhaps. I'd say 3.5 pounds I picked, which is I get 27 a pound in my pocket. So 27 times 3 is $81. So I picked $81 worth of pine needles that I would make profit. And the gross amount of what I picked is 41. That's what shipping and everything comes to 41 per pound. And my pounds are 18 ounces. I give 2 ounces extra. So for three 1 pound orders or 3 18-ounce orders plus possibly extra after that would be 41 times 3, $123 worth of longleaf pine needles, what I picked in the last hour and a half. Now I have to take these home and wash them. Well, what I do is I agitate them. I put warm water in the sink. I put a shot glasses of vinegar, white vinegar distilled, and a little squirt of dish soap. I put them in the water, under the water, and I agitate them, push them up and down, leave them in the water for about 3 minutes, take them out. I put them in a secondary sink, let them drip dry. Once they're pretty well drip dried, I put them on a rack in the house because it's been raining out in front of a heater. I put the heater on low, or I'll put them in front of a fan, or I'll put them above a heating vent. And they will dry within 10 hours or so. They will be dry. Once these are dry, I will bundle them. I'll make 1 ounce bundles and 8-ounce bundles. And then they go in my stock room where they're ready to sell. And if I get a 1 pound order, I get 2 8-ounce bundles and a couple of 1 ounce bundles, and I send it out. If I get a 2 pound order, I get a couple of 8-ounce rolls, and I get 1 ounce rolls, maybe 3 or 4, and I send out my 2 pound order because I always send extra. And if I get a 3 pound order, the same thing. But I have 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds, 2.5 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound, 14-ounce orders, 8-ounce orders, 10-ounce orders. I have all different size orders. And I have to constantly pick the longleaf pine needles because I run out fast. Why do I sell these? What do people buy these for? And I say this in every video, but it's okay because whoever's watching the video don't realize people use these for crafts. They weave baskets. They weave things with these. The things they make with these, they sell and they make money. Just like a painter would go out and buy paintbrushes and canvas, and he'll paint some artwork and sell it up on the internet. Or just like a woodworker would go out and buy some wood, and he'll make a bench, or he'll make a picture frame, or he'll make whatever he makes, a cutting board to cut food on, and he'll sell it on the internet. And that's what people do with this stuff. They buy these longleaf pine needles, and they are very long, by the way. Let me show you. Here's a green one right here on the ground. And I'm going to show you the 3 prongs. And by the way, the customers cannot use the green ones. That is the 3 prongs on one. 3 needles in one. And let me show you how long this needle is. I'll put my foot. My foot is the size 13. So you see my foot next to it. And you can see the needle goes beyond my foot. So that needle's probably 14 inches long. And there are longer needles on the ground here. Here's a really long one right there. That's probably about 18 inches long. And I pick these needles and I sell them and I do good. And I've been doing this for 5 years. And when I first started doing this, I had a very small customer base. And then as I've been doing it throughout the years, I built it up. And I've only been doing it, this is into my 5th year. And I sell 100 pounds a month. It's hard to believe, but I do. I sell like 20 pounds a week, 30 pounds a week. Some weeks I'll sell 15 pounds, then the next week I'll sell 50 pounds. But it always comes out to 100 pounds or more a month. And let me show you what I picked. Let me show you something right in my hand here. Now this is a lot. These are wet. So this right here is like probably $15 worth. It's over 8 ounces. It would be a little less this is like 9 ounces right here. Now an 8-ounce roll would be 13 and change in my pocket. 8-ounce roll would be around $18, but in my pocket would be around 13 and change. Now, this here is probably around 9 ounces or a little more. So this, I would call this a $15 roll. This is $15 worth right here. You see it in my hand. So I'm going to put this in the bag, and then I'm going to show you my bag. My bag right there is a little over 3 pounds, probably around 3 pounds, 5 ounces, 3 pounds, 6 ounces. I'm just guessing. It is over because these are wet. And when they dry, they're going to fluff up. They're going to go up like another inch. They're going to be this big. If these were dried, these would be about this high in the bag. They would be about that high, which it's hard to show you. They would be another 2 inches higher if they were dry in the bag. But because they're all wet and it rained out, they're pressed down. They are pressed down. But if they weren't wet, they'd be fluffed up. They'd be about halfway up the bag. And that's definitely 3 to 3.5 pounds. It's over 3 pounds. It's probably around 3.5 pounds. And like I said, I've been out here about an hour and a half. So I normally pick around 2 pounds an hour to 2.5 pounds. And they're very plentiful. If you look on the ground, you could see them all over the place. And if you look in the trees, you could see them. And they fall out of the trees and they fall on the ground. They're very abundant right here. This is one of my secret honey hole picking spots. And here's some fresh ones that fell. These are green. But these ain't long, really. This one here is long. This one here is probably 10 inches long. And but they're all not long. But oh boy, let's see. Okay, so you know they're 3 prongs. They're all 3 prongs, all of them. There's 3 needles in one. All of them are like that. Here's one that you could weave with. It's I'm gonna try to pull it forward so you can see. There's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, and they're all on one needle. So that's 3 in 1. And people weave with these, and they love these long. They like them long. I try to pick them 11.5 inches or longer. I don't pick the short ones below 10 inches. My customers, they want them long. And that's why I have a large customer base, because I sell long needles. If I were to sell shorter needles, I think my customer base would be smaller, because the people really like long needles to weave with. It's just, it makes it easier. They could weave longer, they could weave quicker, they can make things faster, and they could sell things. And the things they weave with these, they'll weave, like I said this before, they'll weave a basket that goes on a door. A basket that goes on. They'll weave a wreath that goes on the door. They'll weave a broom. They'll weave mats, placemats that you eat off of. They'll weave a mat that goes in the front door. They'll weave a mat that has a intricate design in it, maybe a picture of a house weaved into it, and they'll hang it on the wall. They'll weave baskets that have all kinds of intricate designs in them that look really sharp looking, and they'll sell them for hundreds of dollars. Sometimes it depends how good of a craftsman or how fast they make the things. They'll sell them accordingly, and they do sell. And people make good money doing this, and you think it's a small market. It's not a small market, it's a big market. The whole thing is, it's like anything you sell online. It takes time to build up a customer base. You ain't gonna build up a customer base overnight. It takes time. When I had first started selling these, the first year, I was selling maybe a pound a week, maybe 4 pounds a month, maybe nothing. And then after a while, my name went around the store I sold them in, and people were recommending me. And then all of a sudden, I had people buying them over and over again. And now, fast forward 5 years, I'm selling 20, 30 pounds a week. And even today, I mean, today was a slow day because the last 3 days I sold like 8 pounds. And then today, I sold 1 2-pound order. That's all I sold today. But that's all right. That's all right. Plus, I sold 3 books. So it's all, but I sold, in the last 3 days, I sold 8 pounds. And then today, another 2. That puts me at 10 pounds. So now on Sunday, I'm going to get hammered. I know on Sunday, I always get hammered. Sometimes on a Sunday, I'll sell 10 pounds one day. Boom. And that's why I'm picking. I'm getting ready for my Sunday. Because I get hammered on the weekend. So before this week is up, I will have my 25 pounds in. Believe me. That's how it goes. It's dribs and drabs. You get hit, you don't. You get hit, you don't. A lot of times, I get hit on the weekends. Why, I don't know. But on the weekends, I seem to sell a lot of Longleaf pine needles. And books, too. I sell vintage books that I go out and I collect the books at thrift stores, and I buy the books very cheap. And I look for books that are signed by famous people. I look for books that are very collectible, that there's only a certain amount of them made, maybe a first edition or something. Maybe there was 100,000 made, and the book's like 20, 30 years old, and there's not a lot of them around. So when I sell stuff, specifically when I sell books, I try to get books that are bestsellers, and I try to pay the least amount of money, $1.50, and I try to sell them for 20 or 50 or more. And I spend time. It takes time to sell a book and find a book. You'll go in a thrift store and there'll be hundreds of books, and you'll start going through the books with your camera, taking pictures or whatever you do, using a link or something to get the ISBN number and see how much the book sells for. Or you'll take a picture of the book and then you'll put the picture up and see what it sells for. There's all different ways of doing it. The best way is with the ISBN number, because it'll tell you if the book has a value or not. You go up to Amazon or another website, you can see how many of them sold. You put it in eBay, anywhere, and it'll tell you, okay, 100 of these books sold, and they sell quick, and they sold for this much. I mean, you'll get the idea. You see, and you look on the website, and you see, oh, look, there's only 5 books on the website, and they're all selling like hotcakes. So then that book you want to buy. And some books, there might be a ton of them on the website, but they're selling really fast. So you buy that book too. But if you get a book and there's like 1,000 of them for sale and nothing's selling, maybe 10 sold, you don't want to buy that book. That book you're going to be sitting on for 6 months or a year. You want to buy a book that you're going to sell fast. And you want to buy a book that you're going to get money for. And you want to look at the condition, everything else. And some of the old books I buy, if they're old, vintage books, like from the 50s, 40s, 60s, 30s, you want to look at the condition. And then you want to see how rare and collectible the book is. And then you want to see if it's first edition, second edition. And then books that are old, they're not going to have an ISBN number. They're going to have a different number. When you go to the copyright page, it's going to say the year the book was made. And then on it's going to say like copyright 1954. Okay, that's the copyright year. And then you look, and it might have 2 copyright years, 54, 55. That means it's a later printing. But that's all right. And then you look and see if the book has value. And then it's not going to have an ISBN number. It's going to have a United States Congress catalog number. And it's going to be like a 5 or 6 digit number. And what you do is after the first 2 numbers, you put a 0. And then you put the rest of the numbers. And then you look on the government website. the Congress. It's called the Library of Congress catalog number, and you go to that website, Library of Congress catalog number, United States website. You go there and you enter the number, and the book will pop up, and it'll tell you a little bit about the book. You'll get information. But anyway, okay, we're picking pine needles here, so let me stick with the pine needles. So yeah, the pine needles I do good. I sell a lot. I sell 100 pounds. I move 100 pounds a month. The books I do good too. I move around, roughly around 100 books a month. They go in dribs and drabs. I'll get hit. Well, one person will come and buy, a collector will come buy like 10 books or something, or somebody likes to read certain books, and they'll buy a whole bunch of them. And then sometimes I'll just get people looking for collectible books, and they'll buy one. And I get people looking for sets, and they'll buy a. Today I sold a 7-book set from 1950s children's books, and I sold it for $105. It was a very collectible book set. And I bought them books. I paid it was 7 books, and I bought them for $1 each, paid $7. And I sold them for $107 the set. Then I sold another book, oh boy, I forget the name of the book. It's from 1950s also. And it's a collectible book. It's a very collectible book. And that book there sold for $33. And I mean, and then I sold another book. It was a cheap book. It was like a $15 book, plus I charged $6 shipping. But that's how it goes. It's up and down, but it goes. I have over 2,000 items in my store, or roughly around 2,000 items. I haven't been listing because I've been doing a lot of other things now, but I got to start listing and getting my shop, before my inventory starts dropping. So I also just started gem collecting. That's another thing I'm doing now, is gem collecting, looking for fossils, looking for Palo Indian artifacts. And I've been finding stuff like that, petrified wood, petrified eggs, you name it. I'm finding all kinds of stuff. I'm having a blast. And the pine needles, I've been falling behind with the Longleaf pine needles. So now I got to catch up, and I got to come out here every day and pick till I get my inventory built up, especially since I'm going to get hit on the weekend. But hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and anybody could do what I'm doing. You could do what I'm doing. And you could go out and pick pine needles, and you could sell them. And if you can't do that, they don't grow in your area. They only grow in zone 7, zone 8, and zone 9. So if the Longleaf pine needles don't grow in your area, you could go to thrift stores like Goodwill and stuff. I don't really go to Goodwill because they're overpriced, but I do go to other mom and pop thrift stores, and I get the books for 50 cents to $1 each, or I'll go in there on a sale day and get them on sale if I do go to Goodwill. And I usually flip the books, and I make good money with the books. Sometimes I'll go in the store and I'll spend an hour in there, and I'll walk out with 1 book. Sometimes I'll go in the store and I'll spend an hour, I'll walk out with 20 or 30 books. I mean, it all depends. It depends on who donated what. So that's a good gig too. There's good money in it. It takes time. If you're going to sell online, anything you're going to do, it's going to take time to do. It ain't going to happen right away. Just do it a couple hours a day. List for a couple hours a day. Come out, pick pine needles for an hour a day, 2 hours a day. Keep accumulating. Go out and buy books. Accumulate. Make sure you're going to buy something that's going to move. Then put them up on the internet. A little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2. Before you know it, you have a couple hundred listed, and everything will start moving. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Making Money with Gary. Over and out. I'm in South Carolina. Okay. Over and out, guys.